Hey guys, welcome to Shamrock Foods' fourth edition of Kitchen Conversations, where we will talk to Shamrock partners just like you about how they are approaching the hospitality business, how they stay on top of trends, and how they manage a successful restaurant business. I'm your host, Jeff Piven, Business Solutions Consultant with Shamrock Foods, and I'm today joined by a great Shamrock Foods partner, Josh Garcia, who is Vice President and operator of Miracle Mile Deli here in Phoenix, Arizona. Now, while we're talking, I'll invite everyone watching out there to participate in the conversation by going down below and typing a little comment. Any comment that we're unable to respond to during the broadcast, we will get to immediately after. I know I go through those and make sure that I get everybody's questions answered. So, with that, good afternoon, Josh. Are you with us? Thank you for joining us today. How are you, sir? How's it going, man?
Good, guys.
Good
How
to
are
see you.
you?
I'm good. Well, thanks for joining us today. I know we were talking about an hour ago, and you said that you guys had like some insane catering today. And I know that you've been battling with staffing challenges. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that since it's fresh top of mind?
Sure. So we were discussing earlier just kind of the differences in how we're operating, you know, without the ability to staff heavily as we used to. Had two deliveries going out in different directions of town, and both of them were at the same time. And so I was short two staff members inside the restaurant during our busiest hour of the day from 11 to 12.
Oh,
And
man.
just those sorts of challenges are always tricky, but it's short-lived. But I had my gloves on and behind the serving line making salads or ringing people up or taking phone calls, whatever the case is. But that's some of the things that we've had to deal with as operators, just making sure that we're trimming where we can trim, and obviously not having to sacrifice customer service on any level, and making sure that we're doing our part to service a customer in the way that they need to, but also making sure at the end of the day we can keep our doors open and our lights on.
Right, right. Well, that's great that you have some business, and I know we are on the upswing here in Phoenix, where we're headed into season here, thankfully. You were talking about getting behind the line. I know you've been in this game for a long, long time since you were a child. I mean, this is a family business that you have for how many years now? 70 years?
This is our 71st year of business, Jeff. Yeah. So three generations. My grandfather started the business in 1949. My parents have been operating it and owning it for the last 40 years. And I joined the crew full time in 2004, coming out of the University of Redlands with a degree in business administration. Had no idea what I wanted to do. And so joined the family biz, and it's been, this is my 16th year. So it's been, I got my COVID grays that I've earned every single one of them. Um, but yeah, it's always a fun adventure being in the restaurant industry and dealing with new people, and no day is ever the same. So it's something that we're very fortunate to say that we've been in business within the same family for 7 decades, and we have a great location here on 16th Street in Campbell in Central Phoenix. So we're very blessed to be able to have our own building, and we're very fortunate to be able to serve generations of different families as well.
That's awesome. And, Shamrock Foods will be turning 100 years old in
Wow.
2022, and we still are family run. So, we're very aware of, the culture and the people piece of this business. And that's what we really embrace in this company and our culture. And we've seen with your company, there's a lot of restaurants that come and go. And to see a restaurant that makes it 71 years is really something special. It's something really to be proud of. So congratulations for that. And speaking of
Thank you.
passion for people, um, we understand, and I've looked around on your website and I've seen numerous news clippings, not even just COVID, when you guys were giving out meals to frontline workers, but just an ongoing support for local nonprofits and arts organizations. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, we're a part of the community. We're a very small part of a very large community, and we're very grateful to be able to have the opportunity to give back when we can. Um, during COVID, we were able to establish what we call the first responder fund. And that first responder fund was something that we got the community involved with directly. So people could go on our website and with their online order that they were placing, make a $10 donation.
Wow.
And we raised over
That's cool.
$5,000 in 3 months. And with
Wow.
that, we gave back in feeding box lunches to doctors, nurses, firefighters, police officers, janitorial staff at the hospitals that were all, as you mentioned, frontline workers. So that was something during COVID that's really been a pretty amazing feat for us to be able to say that we were able to be a part of that, and we got the community directly involved, which was fantastic. Pre-COVID, as you mentioned, we've been very heavily involved with the local community for a long, long time. The Phoenix Theater Company, we've had a great relationship with them for a while,
Oh yeah.
and we're very blessed to be able to work with their various kind of subsidiaries within that. Partners That Heal, which is a great organization that works under the Phoenix Theater Company. They go out to hospitals and perform in front of kids that are, there long term. And we've worked with organizations like Feeding Matters, that is an organization that's been near and dear to our hearts for a long time, because they work with pediatric feeding disorders and their families. And the Colton Cowell Foundation, which is another one that is really becoming more mainstream, and we're very fortunate to be able to work with them on various different kind of levels, to the fact that we're able to help them fundraise, and they're building a brand new bat cave in downtown Phoenix, which is going to be pretty incredible. So we're very excited to be able to be a part of a variety of different organizations, just not one, and be able to say that we're able to help them, make their dreams happen as well.
Well, that's incredible. I mean, there's so much that you guys are involved in and giving back to the community. And, what I've seen just as of late, the restaurants that have had the most success are the ones that are the best community partners. Um, so congratulations for that. It's awesome to be part of something bigger, a bigger vision, if you will, in the restaurant business. Um, we were talking about your long tenure in this business, 71 years, with so much history. How do you keep your concept experiences fresh?
That's a great question. Obviously, we've had the fortunate ability to say that like I said, we've been in business 71 years. The key, I think, are three key ingredients. One is quality. You have to make sure you have a quality product that is consistent, and you have to have great service. If you don't, those are three simple qualities that we all have control over, right? So we're in a time of uncontrollables, where there's so many external factors that are beyond our control. I have no control over how many people walk in our door, but what we do have control over is the product that we're carrying. We've had a great, opportunity to work with Shamrock on so many different levels, and making sure that we're able to make sure that our menu's fresh, that we're whether it's a new seasonal salad, whether it's a new sandwich that we need to bring on, whether it's if it's a oven roasted turkey dinner like we do 6 nights a week, that people can, really truly have a Thanksgiving feast in our restaurant 6 nights a week. After 3 p.m., we put a 30-pound turkey right on our serving line. So those are things that people can't find in a lot of different other places. So I think the key ingredient is to making sure that you're able to provide something that people can't find anywhere else. Give them the product that they're looking at, whether it be on your website, whether it be on the serving line, whether it be on a menu, and making sure that you're able to provide that to them also, and making sure that it's consistent and they're having a great experience. The people behind any restaurant will make or break it. I'm a firm believer. People will come here for the food. That is a given. But the experience that you can create for that customer is extremely essential into making it a successful experience or a utter failure. And we're not perfect. I'm not going to say that every customer's had a fantastic experience every single time. We make mistakes as operators. We'll be the first ones to admit when we make an error. But we're going to do our best to make sure that we can rectify that problem and make sure that that customer has a great experience either the next time, or making sure that we make a direct connection with that customer to make sure that they know how much we care about them. So I think, in answer to your question, it's really important to make sure that we're able to provide that experience on a different level, and making sure that it's consistent, and making sure they're getting a great product, and making sure that they're leaving here with a smile on their face, which as we know, especially during these times, it's so important that we're able to smile and provide smiles to people right now.
Sure. Sure. And you know, that smile goes a long way back. And even in some of the oldest texts written about hospitality, the customer wants you to look at them. It basically goes like this: look at me, smile at me, talk to me, and thank me. And you nailed all of them. Hospitality is one thing that never goes out of style. So rock on. I know I've been there, and it makes me feel like I'm right at home, even though you know you guys have this big facility. It still somehow feels cozy, and the smiles are everywhere. So keep that up. I love it. I
Thank
was
you.
I was snooping through your social media, and I of course follow you guys and watch your videos and stuff like that. I've noticed that you're really active on your social media outlets, not just Facebook. Um, but can you tell me, is that something that you've always done, or is that something that you've increased in the last few months just to kind of keep customers abreast? Or just can you take us through your social media strategy before, during, and even into after COVID, what that's going to be like?
Sorry, your audio broke up
Oh,
a little
I'm
bit there,
sorry. I
Jeff,
was
but
asking about your
no, you're all good.
okay, I was asking about social media. You're really active. Can you take me through? Is that something you've always done, or is that new? And just tell me about your strategy.
Yeah, so social media has obviously come a long way over the last decade. It really was more of like a secondary way of life. Now it's become a kind of a necessity for a lot of people.
Right,
The nice thing about social media is it's a free marketing tool. How you use that tool is essential into making sure that people know what's going on. We've been working with a great company called Dotted and Cross Marketing. We're working with the media push from a PR perspective, but from a social media in particular, um, they've done a wonderful job helping us and making sure that we're communicating a direct message. And I think that the most important part right now, especially during COVID, has been creating a message that is clear and concise so that a
right,
customer understands what you're able to provide to them. And then
right,
also, what are you offering? You know,
right,
a lot of operators changed their menus. They limited things for a certain period of time. We've still limited a few of our menu items as well, just because it doesn't make financial sense to do it. And
right.
at the end of the day, we're able to making sure that we're able to provide our pastrami that'll never go away. We sell 3,800 pounds of it every single month. We've had a great company called Aries Beef that's been manufacturing for us out of Burbank. We get it delivered to Shamrock almost daily. So it's one of those things that you're able to communicate what you're offering them, and once again, you're giving them something that they can't find anywhere else. But social media has been a great tool for us for, like I said, for the past decade to really utilize that as a free commercial for us, whether it be us doing a video or introducing a new menu item. All of those things are extremely important, but especially during COVID, when people have been home a little bit more and perhaps a little bit more bored, scrolling through their feed because they have nothing else to do. Whatever the case is, that's been a perfect opportunity for a lot of operators to jump on that bandwagon and get their product in front of people directly. And I think it's been a great tool if it's utilized properly. Also, from a PR perspective, if you have a local PR person that you can work with, the media push has been a great resource for us, just getting that word out on a different level to the various print publications that people will still read, right? And
Yeah,
also the television stations and the news that cover a broader aspect of it. And that's another aspect that people want to know about, that people want to know what's going on in the local community with the restaurants and how they can support. And we've been a huge advocate during COVID, especially, of supporting local businesses, not just us. Obviously, we appreciate the support that the community
right,
has given us directly, but also there's thousands of businesses out there that are struggling just like us. So we want to make sure that we're doing our part to share the message and how important it is for people to understand that we're not the only ones in this boat. There's thousands of other operators that are just looking at their daily P&L to make sure that they're able to keep their doors open and their lights on. And it's a struggle right now, but it's important for the general public and customers to know what that is.
right. Right. Well, good call out. And we know that the social media and the PR and especially the local stations have been very supportive. The social media has been a crucial lifeline for our restaurant partners right now. And, you know, just a message to anyone out there that, you know, maybe is skeptical about social media. Um, it's very inexpensive. almost free practically. It can be free in some respects, but it can, bring more customers to your door and let them know exactly what they can find, where they can find you, what to do. I mean, I know I've scrolled through and seen your sandwiches, your family meals, and your smiling face. It gets me excited to go in there. I've got kind of a habit, so I need to slow down. So there's a lot of regulations with COVID and some of the restrictions that have been placed. Um, we were already doing a lot as restaurants to keep ourselves safe, and especially versus retail, they don't have any of those chemicals. They don't have quat
Yeah,
sanitizer. They don't have that stuff laying around, but we do.
right.
Um, how do you balance safety and the overt safety and hospitality at the same time? Like I can see barely that there is a plexiglass separator behind you, which is cool and unobtrusive. Can you take us through how you balance the hospitality and safety?
Absolutely. That's a great point, Jeff. I think that the major concern right here, and especially still, we're 7 months into this, is customer safety. That is the far most important aspect of this, right? Um, Operators of any local restaurant or bar, that should be their top priority, always, whether it be food safety or right now it's sanitizing of everything and making sure a customer feels comfortable in the dining environment.
Right.
As you mentioned, we did put up these partitions. Multi-Table Manufacturing Services Arizona, another local um, owned and operated family business here, put these up for us. So it was a great tool for us to be able to utilize all of our booth seating rather than just every other booth, but also
Right.
designed to be unobtrusive and not some sort of massive eyesore. And I think it's been a great tool for us to be able to make customers understand how important we feel their safety and their comfort is. Um, you mentioned earlier about the chemicals. Yes, we've been having to have these extra chemical purchases involved with the, how to say, the extra chemical purchases involved with making sure that both sides, both back of house and front of house, are
Right.
doing extra things to make sure that we're sanitizing every, not only the table but also the chair, the back, the ketchup, mustard, salt, and pepper. All of that stuff is all important ingredients to making sure that we're doing our part to make sure that we understand how important this is. First and foremost, customer safety is by far the most important thing. Also, staff safety. We're making sure that we're doing our part in training, consistently training. And
Right.
the thing about this virus has been, I feel like it's evolved and we've evolved with it, right? But also just making sure that we understand the severity of the situation, the masking up, the social distancing,
Hmm.
all of that, and some operators have done a great job with it, and I commend those men and women that have done a great job and have taken it seriously, because it
Right.
is a serious matter.
It is.
But we took out 90 tables and chairs in our dining room. They're in our garage, in our storage unit. So but once again, some people put did their best to make sure that they were providing the right environment that was safe for customers to dine in. Has it been extra steps involved? Absolutely. It's not just snap your fingers and it's done. There's a
Right.
lot of different steps that we could go into, and I know a lot of operators have been going through the same things to make sure that that their staff is safe first and foremost, but also
Right.
the customer's experience is not um, compromised because of what COVID has done inconveniently for all of us.
Right. Well, you seem to have it nailed down. I know when I was in there last week to kind of shop around, it was very seamless. It didn't feel clunky at all. And so, kind of my piece of advice as a consultant to anyone watching out there is just, objectively look at each step of service and each station around your customer's journey through your restaurant from parking lot back out to parking lot, and just kind of look at it objectively. And if it feels wrong or looks wrong, then try and make an adjustment. You guys are killing it, and I appreciate that. Let's go real quick. Veronica from New Mexico. She's a Pro Star teacher. which is I'm guessing that that is some sort of a you know like a like vocational type school. So her question is about staffing. She says, "What are some of the things that you recommend for young adults, that being high schoolers, when applying now in the middle of COVID? You know, there's a lot of new people joining our workforce, and a lot of our workforce in the restaurant business is our young people, including high schoolers. What do you feel that some companies are looking for from these employees?" And then she also goes on to say, are they looking for experienced people, or are you willing to take some young folks and give them a chance? What do you recommend that Veronica tell her students?
Well, I definitely recommend, if she has students that are eager and wanting to work, don't let the lack of experience stop you. If you work for the right operator, they're
Yeah,
going to take the time and the effort and energy to train you and
I
train you
agree.
the right way. I'm a firm believer that um, proper planning prevents poor execution. So that's one of my key
That's
sayings
awesome.
in life in general. But if you take the time to train an employee, and I know that there's a lot of time and effort, energy that goes into it, but if you train that employee properly, they are going to do wonders for you, and they're going to stay with you because they know that you care. If you just throw an employee into the mix and say, "Here, you know what, you're going to be here,
Right.
and we'll just let you just do whatever you want," it's not the way to handle things. Obviously, young people are eager and they're wanting to learn, and that's the first step, right? But I would encourage them absolutely but go for the right places. Do your research, do your homework. When you show up to put in an application, make sure you look presentable. Don't go in shorts and a t-shirt and flip flops and expect you to be presentable. You know what I mean? And I understand that's it's a generational thing, and we've evolved, and we went from chef's coats to polos, and
Right.
all of that stuff on our end of things too. And now people are, there's some operators that say wherever you wear whatever you want to wear. We're not that step, um but I think the important thing is to look presentable, show that you care, and then find the right operator that you want to work for, not just because it's convenient, but make sure that you find something that you're going to enjoy. And maybe it's not something that's going to be your career for 15 years, but maybe 4 or 5, and maybe it'll get you through school,
Right.
and making sure that you're doing the proper steps on your end to do, whether it's food handlers training or food certification manager training, whatever steps that you want to take, make sure that you're applying those, and working towards an ultimate goal.
Right. And Veronica, just one more point. Companies like Miracle Mile Deli and teams like and leaders like Josh are going to teach these young people skills that are going to last a lifetime. There's hospitality in every job. So, when you enjoy hospitality and you go to a place and you see that there's lots of care and love in the way that they take care of their customers, that's some place that you want to go work so that you can learn that stuff and take it on into the future. So let's take a break real quick and just talk to the folks that might be just joining us out there. I'm here with Josh Garcia, Vice President and operator of Miracle Mile Deli here in Phoenix, Arizona. If you have any questions, type them down in the comments and we'll answer them just like we did for Veronica. We are getting some shout outs here from Liz that she's been a loyal customer since you were at Park Central. She loves your food and your staff is the best. Please
Thanks,
comment, we'll
Liz.
call it out, and we'll answer anybody. And if we run out of time, I'll go ahead and answer it after we're done. And Josh and I are going to hang out and have a pastrami sandwich as soon as I'm done here because I forgot to eat lunch. Well, thanks everybody for tuning in. So let's talk real quick about profitability and menu. So we know that we're going to have to change our menus, and you were talking about that. Um, what were some of the big changes that helped you specifically with profitability? Maybe it was menu, maybe it was something else.
Um, it's a great question. I think what COVID made us do was really go back to the drawing board. And I know that your operators that you've previously spoken to have said the same thing. You want to know what everything costs to the penny. And from a
Right.
profitability standpoint, if you're going to make money, you've got to know what things cost. That is the first most important thing. And I know Shamrock was going through some things, on the back end, making sure that we were able to get product from manufacturers, making sure that, the costs were in line with what they could get it at, what they could sell it at. And that's obviously something that we're trying still to do. 7 months later, we're still making sure that we're trying to get our products in and making sure we're getting them in on time, and making sure that if we don't get them in on time, what can we do to make sure that we can get them before we open our doors, or whatever the case is. But I think COVID really made us go back to the drawing board and say, what is relevant and what is important to a customer and what's important to our menu,
Right.
and what can we get rid of? What are the quote unquote dead dogs that can go away for a little bit, maybe come back as an LTO, but really go back to the drawing board and really understand what is important. What are the big sellers? How are we going to push those sellers? Do we need to go up in pricing on some stuff, which we
Right.
honestly we had to? And I don't know any operator that didn't do some changes on that front, just to make sure that they were covering the costs of extra labor or extra sanitizing chemicals, whatever the case was. But really go back and dial things in line by line, item by item, and really making sure that you're doing your part to push the items that you want to sell and the
Right.
important things that people are going to come back for. And
Right.
it was one of those things where we were talking to our Shamrock Foods territory representative, Jeff Heffley. During the first 3 months, we were probably talking every day, and it was just, if it wasn't one item, it was seven. And it was. I know Tim asked a question. Do we feel like the operator supplier consultant relationship has improved due to COVID? Absolutely. I mean, we're all going through this together on different levels, right? But it's one of those situations where, if you can communicate your issue and hopefully the issue can get resolved in the big scheme of things. If we were out of an elbow macaroni noodle that we've had in our restaurant for 30 years,
Yeah.
can we find a different elbow macaroni noodle? Yes. Was that a permanent solution? No. But understanding those aspects of it and making sure that Shamrock was doing their part on their front and we were doing on our front, and making sure the customer understood, hey, you know what? We're going to have a rotini noodle as our macaroni and cheese noodle for a week.
Right.
And it didn't affect our bottom line because of it. Okay, then we were okay with it. You know what I mean? And I think the community's been extremely supportive of all the changes that we've had to make. It's I've referenced this from an operator standpoint is like being on a surfboard and riding a wave. You have to constantly move that surfboard left and right to ride that wave. And if you stop moving that board, guess what? You're going to wipe out. And
Yep.
that's what all of us in this industry are just trying to do. We're trying to make sure that we're riding that wave and that we don't wipe out. At the end of the day, it's important that we're able to, like I said, just keep our lights on, keep our doors open, keep our employees happy and their families. That's the biggest pressure for us as operators is the families that we're here to work with and support. And the good operators, the good local operators that really care are the ones that are going to make it, because those are the ones that care about their staff and their customers, and making sure that they're making the necessary adjustments that they can to survive and continue on once this is all over. And this can't be over soon enough, for sure.
Right. Yeah, I know. We all can't wait till it's over, and nobody wants to see anybody wipe out. So out there, if you don't want to wipe out, you want to be like Josh and cost your menu. Shamrock Foods has a great tool called the Menu Wizard that can help you cost your menu down to the penny, so you know exactly how much money you have on the plate, what your profitability looks like. We've also got support with our Menu Studio program, which is going to be highlighted as part of Kitchen Intelligence next week. So you can design new, better, more profitable, more streamlined, and maybe even prettier menus going into 2021. So let's shift gears. Let's talk about food, because we're all about food. There's food in our name. You guys are a restaurant. We're in the restaurant business too.
Yes,
Tell
you
me
are.
about your favorite food right now. What's a dish right now that you just love?
Um, well, that's a great question. I think our biggest thing right now is making sure that we're able to give uh, utilize food as a comfort tool. I think that's the easiest way to phrase it. We're
Safety
always looking for
blanket.
that some sort of comfort. Yeah, you just want to give your tummy a big hug. So I think right now, for me personally, if I can have a pastrami and a brisket sandwich with some Russian dressing, some Swiss cheese, a big plate of fries, and a couple of kosher dill pickles, I'm
Man,
in pretty much sandwich heaven. So if any of you guys are looking for a great meal tonight, by all means, try that. We have our signature onion rolls or Kaiser rolls, which are great. So those things are so important. I've been trying to lose my COVID-20 slowly, but you know it's difficult being around this food all day, every day. But it's definitely one of those things that you just want to do to make sure that you can eat. And I think we're all trying to eat our feelings in different ways right now. So
Yeah. Trying to get that
um,
balance between eating too much and then maybe getting out there and enjoying some of the sunshine that we have here in Phoenix. Well, 71 years perfecting that recipe. I know you guys have something special there. I'm going to bring this to a close as we're running out of time here, Josh. Thank you, everyone out there, for joining us at Shamrock Foods with Kitchen Conversations. A special thank you to Josh and his team for lending him to us for this 30 minutes. Josh is at Miracle Mile Deli here in Phoenix. So if you want to get that brisket sandwich on that onion roll, that sounds stunning. Take yourself down. What was it? 16th in Missouri?
16th Street in Campbell. So we're just south of
Campbell.
Camelback. Yeah, and we're
Right.
just north of Indian School.
I knew it was one of those little streets right there. I hit it right here. It's in between my
You're
two
close.
offices. So I hit it right there. We hope you enjoyed the show. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. And we'll see you next time. It's going to be November 5th for our next Kitchen Conversations. And let me just call out real quick. We're really hoping to see you guys next week at our huge live Kitchen Intelligence show that we're hosting online virtual, but it's going to be just as good, just as special, and bigger than ever, with so many resources for you, especially now when everybody needs resource. I personally am going to be working with our entire team of 16 consultants. We've got hundreds of booths, opportunities for savings, opportunities to win some things. There's a couple of really sharp seminars on menu design and hospitality and safety that are going to be there. It's not too late to sign up. Get over to shamrockfoodservice.com and sign up. Or get with your district sales representative and they'll be able to help you. Again, thanks, Josh. I really appreciate you being here, buddy, and I'm going to see you real soon. Thanks so much.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Take care,
Thank you.
brother. All right.
Take care.
Thanks.